the Acting Vice-Chancellor, Fiji National University, Professor Ian Rouse, the Acting Dean, College of Medicine, Nursing and Health Science, Professor Rajat, practitioners of medicine, staff of Fiji National University, survivors of cancer, invited and distinguished guests, our media partners, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, Nisambula Vinaka, and a very good morning to you all. Indeed, I'm very much delighted to be here this morning to be part of this symposium. And indeed, as a minister responsible for women, children, and poverty alleviation, because we focus on women empowerment, and our ministry is the lead agency for the implementation of the National Gender Policy. At the outset, allow me to thank the Fiji National University for initiating this symposium on breast cancer as part of the month of October, Pinktober. It is also very encouraging to see that Fiji National University is taking a leadership role to raise awareness on the leading cancer amongst Fijian women. This symposium, I believe, is very much in line with the Fijian government's mandate of promoting a knowledge-based society. Ladies and gentlemen, it is also befitting that the theme for this year is Breast Cancer Made Simple. It has to be, for we are dealing with a difficult and a differing disease. The call to action for breast cancer is urgent. The reasons are obvious, as it is the leading cancer amongst Fijian women, and that breast cancer has been increasing over the past years. At a global level, the World Health Organization recognizes that cancer is a major public health problem, with over 100 different types of cancer accounting for 13% of all deaths, or 8.2 million people in a single year, confirms its public health importance. Breast cancer on its own is a leading cause of death for women with cancer globally, with 1.5 million people being diagnosed in 2010. These are alarming numbers that switch the red alert on. It is very clear that breast cancer is a global problem for our women across the world, and of course in Fiji as well. The 2014 annual report for the Ministry of Health revealed that the leading cause of cancer in women in Fiji is breast cancer, followed by cervical cancer. Breast cancer accounts for close to 60% of cancers in Fijian women. It is undeniable that Fijian women with breast cancer are detected late in the disease. It is a fact too that Fijian women often seek medical attention late as well. I am sure this symposium can address the late detection and the late presentation by doing awareness along these lines. I'm sure we all can make a difference to the social, mental, and physical dimension of this deadly disease. Two key factors that the World Health Organization confirms in improving cancer mortality are the awareness and education to help people recognize the early symptoms of breast cancer and seek prompt medical attention. The next one being screening programs to identify early cancer or pre-cancer before signs are recognizable or visible. It is of great significance for Fiji to have so many specialists in this field gathered here this morning to discuss the causes, prevention, and available treatments for breast cancer. Symposiums such as this are important and beneficial to all people of this nation, especially for women, men, and families who have suffered and are suffering from cancer. As I look across the room, I see a lot of men here, which clearly indicates that breast cancer is not a problem that we women must face alone. Our men, our partners, our spouses are equal in ensuring that we are able to fight this disease. I therefore thank you and commend you for your commitment to this honorable, vital cause. Ladies and gentlemen, let us not ignore the fact that this deadly disease affects not only women, as I've said, but families, including children as well. We must recognize and take ownership of the fact that many of the diseases, apart from the ones that will be discussed today, we face today is the result of the lifestyle that we lead. And these are also due to the fact that we continue to ignore the advice, we continue to ignore the awareness, the messages that continuously is is brought to the communities, especially in cases of NCDs. And the fact that we take our health very lightly. We leave things for the last minute. Many a times we are shocked when we hear there's a death of a member in the community, a family member. And when we try to find out why the death occurred, we find out it's because of a late detection of something. So the more awareness we create, the onus is on communities to understand the reasons behind the intensity of the awareness that ministries, stakeholders and partners continue to conduct on these important issues, especially our health. Okay? And the fact that we take our health very lightly could be a contributing factor to the late detection and early deaths that we have. And we do not need experts to tell us that. We do not need experts to tell that our health is important. So one of the messages that I would like to portray to the community today is for us to make our health our priority. We all must take proactive stand against the fight of any diseases. And in this case, we must stand together to fight against cancer as well. Let us resolve to lead more healthy and balanced life. Each one of us needs to value our life and, of course, as I said, keep our health a priority. In addition to that, the financial, social and emotional effects of breast cancer are best heard from survivors, and I'm sure this symposium will allow you to hear stories from our cancer survivors. It has economical implications as we are dealing with women in their productive periods of life. Just a thought to remind the audience here, allow me to quote by a pioneering oncologist, Dr. Martin Abeloff at Johns Hopkins Hospital says, quote, "Therapies have been lengthy, toxic and disfiguring, adding to the amount of suffering that a patient and family endures. You simply cannot treat cancer without paying attention to the psychological and social aspects of the disease," unquote. The complexity of primary treatment, information overload, well-meaning acquaintances, books and the internet, and the move towards shared decision-making and the vulnerability that a cancer diagnosis engenders all threatens the emotional well-being of a woman. And when the emotional well-being of a woman is threatened, I'm sure we all should agree to that fact that the emotional well-being of the very family is threatened. And when the emotional well-being of families is threatened, ladies and gentlemen, it seriously threatens communities as well. Facing many months of treatment leads to disruption in social activities, especially in terms of childcare, work and caregiving, and decreases the ability to plan and multitask, which we women are very good at. This is also exacerbated by the physical toil that primary treatment often exacts. Therefore, the need for social support for patients with breast cancer is a must. The fears in survivors that must be addressed through the support, through network supports, and even with readily available information. Apart from that, what is equally important is the support that families give to such patients. We cannot allow women to suffer in silence, and we cannot allow women to suffer all by themselves. Therefore, family support is equally important. And I hope by the end of the symposium that the information that will be gathered, the information that will be shared amongst yourself and via the media will be able to assist us. I'm saying us, we all are responsible, okay? Assist us in communicating better with patients, families, and of course the public as well. Raising awareness on health conditions can often miss its target audience and may not have a good penetration to the community. On that note, I'm glad that I have been made part of this symposium so I can inform the public. I mean, though we are not a Ministry for Health, the Ministry for Women is equally doing its share in trying to take services to the very communities where sometimes people have difficulties in accessing information. And on that, we have embarked on a REACH program, and the basic the underlying principle of this REACH program is to take services to the grassroots people. And this is being done with, in partnership with the UNDP and the Japanese Embassy, which is assisting the ministry with mobile teams. And we have started going out to the north, and we feel that these are some communities which are often neglected, And the teams go out, visit these isolated communities, stay with them, take the services to them, and try to discuss and see what issues they have. In the coming, probably early next year, we'll be assisted through the Japanese government and UNDP funding, assistance of 3 mobile buses, which will assist us to be in contact with these communities. And these buses will be stationed in, one would be in the north, one would be in the west, and one would be in the central division. And these buses will be equipped with personnel and services related to government services, and we have plans to take health services to these people as well. We might not be able to take doctors, but we will be able to take information to these isolated communities. So that is the way we are going to work in future. And that's on that. So basically, I know there are a lot of distinguished guests who will be speaking to you. And like I said, I do not come from the medical field, but any information that we will be able to acquire after the symposium, we would very much like to be in partnership to take it to the people. And a simple appeal here from my side is that we must treat everybody as equal members of the society. We must take ownership of the lives we have, and we must take a very proactive proactive approach to our health issues. To the men present not only here in this room, to the men out in the community, we women, your wives, need your support in the fight against breast cancer. Breast cancer needs to be made everyone's concern, and we need to stand together as a family. And each woman needs her family by her side, as well as each victim. Get past, to the ladies, get past the fear and the unspoken taboo about speaking about such subjects. Sometimes these are the issues that are not spoken about. Like I thank Professor here for giving us the symbolic reference to why breasts are important. We need not be ashamed of that. Okay? Many a times we have cases where women feel shy to come up. And that, I think we've gone past that. And we need to get past that fear. We need to break some taboos that used to exist, some cultural taboos where we are not allowed to speak openly about our anatomies. When it concerns families, when it concerns our lives, I think we really need to rise up and speak about these subjects within families. It's also very important. There are many things that families do not discuss openly. And if I may add on to this, issues like domestic violence, child abuse, sexual harassment, these are some of the things that are kept hush-hush. Let's not talk about it. Sometimes women, even we ourselves, are not very comfortable talking about breast cancer. I mean, the word breast is, in the past, it was something that should be, like, let's just keep it to ourselves. I think we should be proud that we are women, okay? And breast being part of our anatomy is also very important, as mentioned. These are nurturing. We nurture our children with that. So we need to talk about these things. More dialogue, as I said, is needed within families, within communities, within societies, so that people are able to fully understand this disease. Sometimes we come across women who have said, we've lost one breast. There's nothing to be shy about it. There's nothing to be shy about it. And I think the more we speak about it, the more we'll be able to impact the mindsets of our people, especially the elderly generation that we have. I think the younger generation would agree with me that because of the information overload about these things, about the accessibility of information about these issues, they do not have an issue with that, or they should not have an issue with that. But getting across to elderly communities, it's very hard to talk about this. So we need to break that, and we will need the assistance of our younger generation. You know, our community leaders, our faith-based organizations, all. Because when I say, if there's an issue that affects women, it affects whole families. And for that, we really need to get past the fear of taboo subjects. And let us change our mindsets, and let us stand united to fight breast cancer. And let us not do this only during October. You know, why do we have October, just Pinktober? Why can't we do it all throughout the year? So this is where we need the continuity of awareness. What happens after October? There's no talk about it. I mean, there may be talk, but not as hyped as it is during the month of October. So to the stakeholders present here today, I invite you to join my ministry and join the government to ensure that the hype regarding this disease or any other disease has a continuous thing. Let's continue to work. Let's continue to ensure that it remains in the limelight. And not only that, come October, then let's talk about breast cancer. Okay? So that we can do it at our own levels within our own organizations. And finally, we do understand that awareness requires a lot of money, and that we need to support the Fiji Cancer Society. There's morning teas being held, and I urge organizations to come forward and assist the Fiji Cancer Society in their quest to help make, as it said, breast cancer made simple. And the answer is out there, and I'm sure together we will find the answer to that. So with these words, I have much pleasure in making a small pledge towards your morning tea, Professor. And if I may present to you a check of $2,000 from the ministry. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that word, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me here this morning. And like I said, as mentioned earlier on, the financial toll that diseases such as this puts on families, especially those who are poor and who are not able to afford basic treatment, should not be a deterrent to any families. And as it said, together we can find solutions, whether it's awareness, whether it's trying to take information to the people and to the community. And with these words, I wish you all the very best, and congratulations once again for this symposium. Thank you very much.